All right, guys. So I'm going to be working questions 29 through 36. Okay. So let's see. The polygons in each pair are similar. Find the scale factor of the smaller figure to the larger figure. All right. Let me talk about scale factor first. Okay. So let me talk about what a scale factor is. We have seen them in model car kits. I see here my scale factor is 1 over 32. And what does that actually mean? That if I measure the model car, the car that I build, for every 1 inch in the model card, it represents 32 inches in the actual card. 1 inch in the model card is 32 inches in the actual card. That's what this scale factor is. Now, scale factor can be represented in many ways. In this case, we see it as a fraction. We see it as 1 over 32. Another way people say it is 1 to 32. So we can see it as using the word 2. Another method that we can see it, which is the one I'm going to be using, is 1 colon 32. Okay? So it could be written in these 3 ways, but the one I'm going to be using is this one. All right. So let's go back to our work. I'm going to choose a number from the small figure, which is 16. The corresponding part on the bigger figure is 40. And I'm going to choose the small figure first because here, I want you guys to read this, smaller figure to the larger figure. The small figure first, okay? All right, so the way I'm going to write this will be 16 colon 40. Now, one thing, if it was a fraction, if I had written this as a fraction, 16 over 40, we know how to simplify fractions, right? Divide each by 8 to make my number smaller. The same thing when we use colon. 16 and 40, the numbers, I'm going to divide each by 8. So in the simplified version, I'm going to say 2 colon 5. That will be my answer. Now let's take a look at number 30. Now I cannot choose number 20. Well, actually I could because it goes with 24. So I'm going to say, all right, 20 goes colon 24. If you can simplify your numbers, do so. In this case, I'm going to divide each by 4. So my answer will be 5 colon 6. Okay. Let's take a look at number 31. Now, I cannot choose side 8 because side 8 goes with this side, and I don't know how big is that side. I'm going to choose side 16 that goes with 24. So right now I'm just going to write 16 colon 24 all together, okay? No spaces. If you can simplify your numbers, by all means do so. In this case, let me divide each by 8. I'm going to divide each of my numbers by 8. So my reduced answer will be 2 colon 3. So 2 to 3. Again, mathematically speaking, you could write this as 2 over 3, 2 colon 3, or 2 to 3. Those technically are correct ways, but the one I'm going to be using is the one that uses the word. I mean, the 2 dots, the colon. Okay. So let's see. 24 goes with 30. Remember, I have to use the small number first because it said the small figure to the larger figure. So let me write this as 24 to 30. The colon, I read it as 2, 24 to 30. Now, if you can simplify your numbers, let me divide each by 6. So my answer would be 4, 2, 5. All right, now that we know how to use scale factor, let's now that we know how to read scale factor, let's use it. We're gonna solve for x. The polygon in each pair are similar. The scale factor from A to B is 1 to 2. Okay, so I'm gonna choose the value from A first. Let's look at here. It says A to B. So I'm gonna choose the value of A first. A is corresponding with 3x minus 5. In this case, let me write this as a fraction. 8 over 3x minus 5. The value of A goes first. Now, on this example, 33 to 36, A will not always be the smaller figure or the larger figure. Sometimes A will be small, sometimes A will be big. I just want you guys to go from A to B. Kind of want you guys to learn how to read the scale factor. But the instructions are solve for x. In order for me to solve for x, I'm going to let this equal, because my scale factor from A to B is 1 to 2. We can see that here. I'm going to let this equal to 1 over 2. Now I can just cross multiply. If I multiply this way, the one number by itself, in this case 1, I'm going to go 1 times 3x and 1 times 5. That's going to give me 1 times 3x is 3x minus 1 times 5 is 5. And this other way, 8 times 2 is equal to 16. So I have the 3x minus 5 is equal to 16. Let me separate my sides to the equal sign. I want to have the 3x by itself. So this minus 5. Let me move it to the other side as a plus 5. So that gives me 3x. 3 times x is equal to 21. Right? 16 plus 5 is 21. Now let me divide both sides by 3. Then I'm going to get that x is equal to 7. And there you go. Obviously, on the homework, you don't have to type in x equals. I'm just expecting the number 7. All right, let's take a look at question number 34. The scale factor from A to B is equal to 2 to 3. So I'm going to write 12 over 2x plus 6. Because it said A to B, I'm going to put the information from figure A on top, and the information from figure B at the bottom. So 12 over 2x plus 6 equals, because my scale factor is 2 to 3, I'm going to write this as 2 over 3. All right, let me cross multiply. When I go this way, the numbers by itself, 2, I'm going to go 2 times 2x and 2 times 6. That's going to give me 4x plus 12. Right? I went 2 times 2x, and I went 2 times 6. So that's why I have 4x plus 12 equals this other way. 12 times 3 is 36. All right, let me separate my sides to the equal sign. My plus 12, I'm going to move it to the other side as a minus 12. Don't forget to switch the signs. So I have that 4x is equal to 24. Let me divide both sides by 4. So I get that x is equal to 6. For my answer, I'm just going to type in 6. Take a look at number 35. The scale factor from A to B is equal to 4 to 5. For space purpose, let me use here at the right. I'm going to write 32 over 4x plus 8 because it said A to B. Information of A goes on top, information of B goes at the bottom. And this is going to equal to, the scale factor is 4 to 5. So I'm going to write this as 4 over 5. Okay, let me cross multiply now. And then go this way. I'm going to go 4. The number that is by itself, it's 4. So 4 times 4x and 4 times 8. So that's going to give me 16x plus 32 equals 32 times 5. That's 160. Separate them through the equal sign. I want the 16x by itself. So this plus 32. Let me move it to the other side as a minus 32. So I get 16x is equal to 128. Now let me divide both sides by 16. Use a calculator if you need to. 128 divided by 16 happens to be 8. And again, on my homework, I'm just going to type in 8. Lastly, let's take a look at number 36. The scale factor from A to B, so I'm just going to write 2x minus 6 over 18 equals, the scale factor is 2 to 3, 2 over 3. Let me cross multiply. I like to deal with the x first. The number by itself is 3. I'm going to go 3 times 2x and 3 times 6. It's going to give me 6x minus 18 equals, and 18 times 2 is 36. We separate them through the equal sign. My minus 18, let me go over as plus 18. So I'm going to write this as 6x equals 54. Right? 36 plus 18 is 54. Now let me divide both sides by 6. And I get that x is equal to 9. And I'm just going to type in 9. Okay, let me zoom out to show you guys what we did.